Picard's greatest Star Trek. TNG episode sets up why Jean-Luc quit Starfleet. Jean-Luc Picard's decision to leave Starfleet before the events of Star Trek. Picard shocked longtime fans, but the seeds of his disillusionment were sown decades earlier in one of the next generation's most powerful episodes, The Inner Light. While TNG offered many philosophical, action-packed, and emotionally rich stories, The Inner Light stands out as a quiet, haunting tale that fundamentally altered Picard's worldview and helps explain why, when pushed to choose between bureaucracy and morality, he ultimately walked away from the Federation. Originally airing in TNG Season 5, The Inner Light takes Picard on a surreal journey. A mysterious probe strikes the Enterprise captain with an energy beam, rendering him unconscious for what seems like a matter of minutes on the bridge. But in his mind, he lives an entire lifetime as Kamen, a scientist on the planet Catan. Over decades, he falls in love, raises children, plays music, and watches his adopted world slowly die from ecological collapse. When he awakens, mere moments have passed in the real world, but Picard carries with him a lifetime of memories and emotions. It is one of the most moving, introspective episodes in Star Trek history, and one that permanently transformed the way Picard saw his role in the galaxy. The Inner Light redefined Picard's relationship with time, identity, and duty. Up to that point in TNG, Picard had been the model Starfleet officer, disciplined, principled, and loyal to the chain of command. But through Kamen's life, Picard discovered what it meant to be part of something smaller and more personal. Instead of commanding a starship, he tended a garden. Instead of negotiating peace treaties, he tried to keep his children safe and preserve cultural memory. This intimate, grounded existence awakened in him a new kind of value system, one based less on orders and more on legacy, love, and empathy. This inner conflict didn't fully surface in TNG, but it simmered under the surface in the movies and exploded in Star Trek, Picard. When the Romulan sun went supernova and the Federation chose to abandon its rescue mission, Picard saw a galaxy making the same mistake Catan had, ignoring the suffering of others until it was too late. He pleaded for compassion, for action, for a moral stand. And when Starfleet chose pragmatism over principle, he resigned in protest. It wasn't just that Starfleet failed the Romulans. It was that Picard had seen, lived, and felt what it meant to lose an entire world. Catan had died, but its people had fought to preserve memory and meaning. The Federation, in contrast, turned away in silence. Picard couldn't be part of that. His emotional journey in the Inner Light had taught him that duty without empathy is empty, and that institutions, no matter how noble, must still be accountable to the people they serve. One of the most potent metaphors in the Inner Light is the Resican flute, the simple instrument Picard learns to play in his Kamen life. After he returns to his normal consciousness, the probe leaves behind the flute, a relic of the life he lived in another time. In later episodes, Picard can be seen playing it in moments of solitude, a symbol of the quiet truth he carries inside. The flute becomes a physical manifestation of the life lessons he learned on Catan, the fragility of existence, the importance of personal connection, and the ache of knowing that sometimes, even the best efforts aren't enough to save a world. This symbolic language carries over directly into Star Trek, Picard. Throughout the series, Jean-Luc is portrayed as a man haunted not only by past decisions, but by an enduring sense of moral clarity that places him at odds with the increasingly political, detached Federation. His vineyard in France, a quiet, earthy place where he makes wine with his hands, mirrors Kamen's simpler life. It's no coincidence that when he leaves Starfleet, he retreats not to a command center, but to the soil. While TNG often celebrated Starfleet's ideals, The Inner Light reminded audiences that those ideals are only meaningful when practiced with sincerity and humanity. Picard never stopped believing in the core principles of the Federation: diversity, cooperation, exploration, but he grew disillusioned with the way those values were being distorted or ignored. That disillusionment, shaped by the emotional blueprint of the Inner Light, ultimately led him to walk away. Jean-Luc Picard's resignation wasn't an act of rebellion, it was an act of remembrance. He remembered Catan, a world that perished while its leaders tried to deny the truth. He remembered Kamen's family, who held fast to love and dignity in the face of oblivion. And he remembered that being a leader sometimes means standing alone, holding onto values even when the institutions around you let them go. He walked away from Starfleet with his head held high and his flute still in hand,